What's going on, everybody? This is Drew here. I want to welcome you all to a Why Am I Not Recording? Hello?
It's a fun game.
No kidding. Am I recording? Wait, it's moving now. Well, you know what? This is kind of par for the course for Phoenix Down, so welcome to a new episode of Phoenix Down. I am Drew, and with me today is Matt.
Hello.
And yeah, we are recording, so there you go. Just I didn't see the lines moving, so I was like, oh god,
mystery solved.
Yeah, but they're moving now. So yeah, we are continuing our playthrough of Yakuza 3, Yakuza 3 Remastered, I might as well say. Last we left off, we had finished Chapter 4, moving on to Chapter 5, which is we're starting to get into the actual story of this game. Because let's be honest, playing Orphanage Simulator and doing odd jobs around Okinawa was not really part of the story.
Yeah, it wasn't. Although I did like the early introduction to the characters in Okinawa, like Rikiya and Nakahara. You know, got a good sense that at least they were going to be important.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, you got to set. I get it, and I shouldn't crap on it, but I mean, you need to set up. You know, Kiryu's turning a new leaf. You know, he's trying to go the straight and narrow. He's trying to take care of these children. I get it. They're trying to set up a good, relationship with these kids, and it was way too long in the tooth for me.
Yeah, that's it. That's it in a nutshell for me. Yeah. I actually not only didn't mind it, I kind of liked it as a nice, nice change of pace and a nice all right, this is the starting point. We will get back here at some point. But it was just way too long. Yeah, definitely. So, we're first introduced to at the end of this our main Tojo clan leaders at this point. So obviously Daigo has been shot and is currently in the hospital. It is touch and go with him. We don't know if he is going to survive at this moment. But there is a Tojo clan meeting that's being held, and it's being ran by Kashiwagi, which is the head of the Kazuma family. We've known him for years. He's kind of like a trusted associate of Kiryu. He's the man with the large scar on his face. And I like that he's still around at this point because initially he was just kind of a behind-the-scenes character. Almost didn't matter. I know he had his position in the Kazuma clan hierarchy, but he didn't do very much in the first game.
No, not really. He played a little bit of a bigger role in the first game, Yakuza 1.
Yeah.
As kind of like a advisor to Kiryu. But he's definitely still around. We'll get into that, but
it almost sounds dumb to say, but I just like that there's the consistency that there is between games. I like that he's still around. I like that, he's kind of risen in the ranks, and it does give a sense that I feel like these games are more connected than I kind of thought they would be.
Oh yeah, no. This series definitely has never pulled any punches of we're getting into this and you already know who this person is.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a situation where I wouldn't like that. I mean, I guess if I hadn't played one in 10 years and picked it back up, I wouldn't remember it. But playing them, if not back to back, in fairly short order, it feels like coming back to a TV show I really liked.
Right.
And I'm like, I might not know exactly what happened in the last game, but I do remember all the characters, most of their relationships, and sometimes I'm like, it's just good to see this guy again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's interesting how connected they are. I'm thinking of, something like God of War games, all great, lots of sequels, but this is
even if the storylines aren't that tight, the universe is very tight, and that's really cool.
Yeah, they've always done a great job with that. You know, there's always characters coming back. There's, you know, the you got your main guys. Obviously, you got Majima, you got Kiryu.
Yeah,
they're always going to be there. But
you got people coming back from the dead.
You know, multiple times apparently. So yeah. So we get our meeting. We get our Tojo clan meeting with all the heads of the families that are currently around. And I love the setup that they have here.
Yep,
because,
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, Kashiwagi's kind of like running the meeting, and they're talking with the three. At the beginning, you only see three of them. You see, Kanda, who is now
Kanda.
Who's now over the Nishikiyama family. I've played this game on almost silent, so I don't know how they pronounce it. Is it Mine? Do they call him
Mine?
Mine. Okay.
Yeah.
I just saw him Mine, but
yeah.
Mine, who is part of. Is it the Mine family, or is it a different family?
He's in the Hakuho clan.
Hakuho family. And Hamazaki. You can tell Hamazaki is a villain. Now, granted, we didn't talk about this. We had introductions with these characters in the last chapter, basically showing how they act. Kanda was what we thought, he was having sex with somebody, and he forced his crew to stand outside the door and listen. But Hamazaki was threatening a chef and decided to, what we thought, leave him a big stack of money to make him reconsider. And as he walked out of the restaurant then blew up because it was actually a bomb. Hamazaki is obviously a villain.
Yeah, and he looks like it. He's not, like, it's interesting the way they set these three up, because all three of them kind of clearly look like villains, but definitely Kanda and Hamazaki.
Yeah.
I mean, over the top and a little bit more reserved, but both clearly bad guys who will mess you up.
Yeah. And Mine, I should say, is kind of like he's a newcomer to the Yakuza. He was originally like a weird, like, stockbroker who made it rich, but also got into insider trading. And I guess when he got caught, he kind of moved to crime. So he's kind of like this new blood, Richie Rich kind of guy. And seems like, aside from Kashiwagi, they don't really respect him too much, because he didn't come from the old school Yakuza. And so they're having a meeting and talking about what they need to do. They think, okay, well, obviously somebody shot Daigo, and there's got to be somebody in the Tojo clan who did this. And, of course, they're not too worried about that. Specifically, Kanda and Hamazaki, both of them are like, you know what, we don't really need to worry about that. We need to know who's going to be the boss of this clan now. And, of course, both of them are thinking it's going to be them. And I guess they realize, a war's coming because somebody's going to take over. Of course, Kashiwagi is not having any of that. He's like, no, we don't need to worry about who's going to be the successor. If we play it like this and we end up fighting against each other, the Tojo clan will just die. Because easily the Omni Alliance could come in and just, we can take over now because there's so much disarray. And Mine also agreed. He was like, yeah, we need to figure out what's going to happen with, Daigo first, and probably find out how this happened and also why it happened. Because one of the things we got in the introduction cutscene with Mine was he was on the phone with Daigo, and they were talking about the land deal with either the resort or the military base. And obviously Daigo is not going for that, said no, and they believe that's the reason why he got shot.
Yeah.
And while this infighting is all going on, Kashiwagi... What's that?
This is where they were trying to pitch also, essentially Kiryu comes in to lead us through the mess, or we kill Kiryu?
Yeah, so that was brought up by Kashiwagi. Kashiwagi was like, we need to bring in the fourth chairman because he's got a level head. We can have him both try to help figure out what happened here as well as try to delegate as best as possible. When Kanda,
and also, I would think Kashiwagi would know that Kiryu doesn't want to be the successor necessarily.
Right. And Kanda, when he heard this, is not going to have any of it. He's like, no. Kiryu is a friggin' traitor, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let him come back in here. In fact, the next time I see him, I might even try to kill him. And Hamazaki's like, I could be down for that.
Yeah.
Because Kanda's, he definitely falls into the Nishikiyama family archetype of he betrayed Nishikiyama and, got him killed.
Yeah. Which is funny because I'm definitely like, all right, if Mine and Kashiwagi are a no to killing him or a yes to bring him in, and then Hamazaki and Kanda are the opposite, I'm like, well, that kind of sucks to have such a big decision end in a tie.
But it doesn't have to end in a tie because, and like I said, I like how this whole meeting was set up because every camera angle showed just these four people. And then Kashiwagi mentions, well, we haven't heard anything from the silent guy sitting over there. And the camera pans and, oh, look, it's Majima sitting there.
Yeah.
And Majima doesn't have anything to say. In fact, he kind of gets up and is like, I don't want anything to do with this. You guys do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. I'm not interested in this conversation at all.
And he's just like, I'm out of here. And just walks off.
And that's the kind of nice thing I like. I mean, this game, the series has never really lacked for style, but it's nice when they do this kind of thing to really build up the almost mini reveals or just like little moments. Like this moment was so much better because you didn't know Majima was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they could have easily just done it more simply and just panned around and he just didn't say anything. But I don't know. I like that little bit of better storytelling or artfulness. I don't know exactly what you would even call it, but it's one of the things I've liked about this game and this moment.
Most certainly deliberate.
Yeah.
And it was really well done. I was like, that was a good touch. So, after that, we cut to Kiryu. Kiryu is now back at... we cut back to him at Stardust, and we say, well, we need to go find Kashiwagi. If anybody knows what's going on, he will. So we need to find him. And that's pretty much the next big story beat is going to the Kazuma family headquarters and talking to Kashiwagi, which is in the Millennium Tower. Going up to the Millennium Tower, we meet up with Kashiwagi. Kashiwagi tells us, glad to see you back. Hey, a lot of craps went down. Kiryu's like, oh, I know. A lot of crap went down in Okinawa, too. And Kashiwagi's like, I've heard who they think it was that shot Daigo. And he's like, I've got a picture that's from a reliable source. And he shows it to him, and he's like, yeah, this is definitely Kazuma. How is that possible? Kazuma's dead. I watched him die. I don't know. But there is some type of traitor working with Kazuma. And they ordered this hit. And, of course, it's got to have something to do with the land in Okinawa. So Kazuma, reveals to Kiryu, Daigo was not going to go for it because he knew that you owned that land. And somebody is trying to circumvent that by killing him. So who could it be? Well, it could be a number of people. And while we're getting this conversation, a helicopter flies by the Millennium Tower, and the door slides open a la The Matrix. And a dude with a minigun sticks out and just starts unloading onto the Millennium Tower.
Yeah, you know this is going to go poorly, right? Because didn't the power to the building get cut, or the power to the floor get cut before that?
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, they thought it was a power outage.
They look out into the city. They're like, there's nothing wrong with the rest of the city. You're like, there's literally no way this can be good.
And so, Kiryu jumps down, gets out of the way. The helicopter flies off, and when Kiryu stands up, Kashiwagi is there, gravely wounded. And by gravely, I mean he's dead. He has been shot up multiple times. He is still slightly alive, and he gives Kiryu the picture back, and is like, there is somebody in the Yakuza that has betrayed us.
Someone in the Tojo clan, even.
Yeah, someone in the Tojo clan, and unfortunately, Kashiwagi passes away and dies. And we
it was cool that he was around, but it didn't last too long.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, they keep bringing him back. Well, not this one. Yeah, he's dead. Kiryu leaves the Millennium Tower to, I guess, go and find who the betrayer may be. And as he's leaving the Millennium Tower, he's obviously covered in blood because of Kashiwagi. And the police are there trying to hold back all the rubbernecks, as we call them. And they see Kiryu covered in blood, and they're like, "Whoa, hey, wait a minute, stop!" And you had to get out of there. We had to escape, so we had to run away from the police officers. I'm going to pause for a second because this is a portion of this game that I detest with every fiber of my being. So this part, we're just running away, which is not that bad. In the same vein as this part, we have parts where we have to chase down somebody. So the mechanic is run away in this maze of a city, avoid people, avoid objects, and then occasionally you'll run into a barrier that you have to hit the A button to like jump over in like a cinematic. On top of that, we also have a meter that shows how far away you are from either the target or somebody chasing you. On top of a meter that shows Kiryu's stamina. And if the stamina goes all the way down, the entire scene is over and you fail. And you
lose stamina even just walking and running.
Yes. So there is, you can just do your normal jog, which is okay, but eventually things will catch up to you or things will get away from you. But if you pull down the right trigger, he runs like sprints, which makes his stamina go down even faster. Also makes it harder to dodge stuff. Also, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I most certainly have. There are times where I'm holding down the right trigger and it'll just stop. Like I'm running, sprinting, and then, because it makes a sound, that sound.
Yeah.
And it like I'll be running and it just stops and I'm back to a jog. And I'm like, what's going, why am I stopped? Like, go.
Yeah, is there like a separate run meter? somewhere hidden?
I feel like the game is like just glitching out or something, and it's like, nope, you're not running anymore. And I'm like, okay, well, I just lost the guy because of that.
I did feel like when I ran into something, I would still be holding the trigger down. I'm like, all right, run as soon as you can run, and he wouldn't.
Yeah.
After recovering, so I had to like release the trigger, then push it down again for him to actually like recognize the ask to run.
Yeah, it's like a reset or something.
Yeah.
So we had to run away from the police. Anyway, I'm sorry. I had to have a sidebar because I hate this part of the game. I've had to do it multiple times in both sub stories and in the main story, and I'm just like, I really hate it because I fail every time. I've never successfully done this on one try.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. I did one or two of them on my second or third try, and then one or two of them I basically just gave up, and it was like, do you want to play this part in easy? And I said, yeah, finally.
And then
just let me do it.
What does easy do? You just don't get tired as fast?
Yeah, and your opponent doesn't run as fast, and every hit knocks off a little more of his stamina bar.
Gotcha.
So it is a lot easier. I wish that it was just a little bit easier, so I didn't feel so cheap for having taken the easy way out.
Sure. At this point, I'm too old and don't have enough time on my hands to deal with this. I haven't bumped it down to easy. Granted, it's so annoying because it's like, these sections can last upwards to like 3 minutes sometimes.
Yeah.
Redoing an entire thing is just annoying as shit.
Yeah, and also because I don't feel like it's necessarily that I did all that much wrong.
Right.
Like, there are some sharp corners, and it's basically just like you have to do some of these parts perfectly, or else you just can't catch him.
Also, we haven't talked about it a lot, but the controls in this game is very early Yakuza, where like Kiryu will just do a complete 180 if you just barely move the stick. And I was like, oh gosh, this is so bad to control.
Yeah.
4 is going to be the same way, dude. I hate to tell you this, but it is what it is. But anyway, we get away from the police, and we're trying to catch our breath, and we run into a familiar face. Good old Date. Yeah, Date shows up, and he's like, "Oh, it looks like you're in a bit of a bind." So he's like, "Follow me. I'll take you someplace safe. You can lay low for a while." So we follow him, stick close to him, walk right through the cops, and he takes us to a very familiar location. He takes us to Serena, which is now New Serena. They reopened the bar.
No point trying to go in through the back door anymore.
No. We don't need to. We can just go right through the front. It has a very lopsided welcome mat. Every time I see that, I was like, what? Why that? But, yeah, we go there and lie low. We get a nice little cutscene with him. They're kind of catching up. So Date, in the past 2 years, has completely left the police force. He's no longer a detective, and he now works as a investigative reporter for the newspaper. And he's been looking into a lot of this stuff too, including the land deal. So there's obviously some money being thrown around about this land deal, and it's coming from the Yakuza. It seems like there's 2 parties involved, who one is going for the military base, while the other one is going for the resort. We don't know which one's which, but we're going to try and figure this out. Kiryu also fills him in on, well, one of these 4 guys had something to do with Daigo getting shot. So we go over kind of a game plan. We look at all the people. He has pictures of all the leaders of the clan, and basically it's like, okay, so who would benefit the most from Daigo and Kashiwagi being taken out of the picture?
I did think this part was a little strange too, because didn't he only have 3 pictures? Or did he have 4?
No, he had 4. He had
Okay.
because they mentioned Majima.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's Mine, Majima, Hamazaki, and Kanda.
Yeah, I thought at one point they didn't mention Majima. I'm like, well, we just saw him, so why are they not having him be on the suspect list?
So what ended up happening was, I think, who spilled the beans about this? Oh, no, he did. We find out after we go and find Kanda. We go back to the base of operations. We go back to Date, and he tells us a little bit more about Majima. Found out some more information, which we'll get to. So the first thing we figure out is, okay, Kanda is brute force, totally wants the crown for himself. He has the most to win from Daigo and Kashiwagi being killed. Let's go take a look at him. So first on the list is finding the patriarch of the Nishiyama family. On top of this, Kiryu gets a phone call, and it's old Rikyu. He said, "Hey, I'm in Tokyo. I caught a flight. Kind of pissed at you for leaving me, but I'm here now. Please meet up with me." And we go on this long ass side mission of trying to find him. Going to all these different places. Go to the Millennium Tower, he's not there. Go to all these different stores, he's not there. He keeps sending us messages. Why don't you just call him and say, "Stay where the hell you are"?
Yeah, almost felt a little bit like a missed opportunity because I'm not sure if it was much of a puzzle.
It wasn't.
But also, I feel the same way about when we had to feed the dog earlier. I don't think it matters what you pick much.
I don't think it does. I think it's going to be the last one.
Yeah.
It really is. But finally run into him. I decided to do the whole spend some time with him.
Yeah, I did too. I took it as far as I reasonably could.
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't do whatever. There was one at the end I didn't do. When he was looking for a topless bar or a...
Yeah, it was some kind
hostess
of
club,
it
or
was some kind of hostess club or strip joint. Bikini bar. That's what it was.
Bikini bar. Yeah,
and
that one I didn't do. I did everything up to that.
So I said, yeah, let's go find it. But Kiryu's like, you know what? I've actually got some things I got to do. I'll catch you later. But yeah, we go our separate ways with Ricky, and on our way to go and find Kanda. So we run into some of his guys. I think, does Ricky run into some of his guys and we go help him and beat him up, and then, hey, you're some of the Nishiyama guys, right?
Yeah, it was almost awkward. He ran into them, but we had to go find them anyway because they were going to tell us where Kanda was.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of like a random happenstance. But yeah, beat up some of his guys, and then they tell us that Kanda really likes to... Oh, because they were accosting a woman. They were trying to kidnap a woman.
Yeah, in the park.
In the park, yeah, that's what it was. And they said that Kanda really likes to give women massages very loudly. And he likes for us to either watch or listen in. And they're like, oh, okay. And that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to get a woman to take back to this hotel so that he could give them a massage. So, yeah. We go to the hotel. Me, Kiryu, and Ricky. And the hotel is one of those pay-by-the-hour hotels. The clerk there says, well, you can't go in there. It's only couples only. So Ricky comes up with the bright idea of, we are a couple. And, grabs onto Kiryu's arm. And is, all lovey-dovey with him. And Kiryu's really weirded out by it. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, here you go. Here's a key. And they get into the into the elevator to where she can't see him anymore, and he's still holding on to his arm. He's like, "You can cut this shit now." So man, cut to a gauntlet. Holy crap! This was like a 15-minute kind of ordeal here. I had to fight multiple dudes, then chase after Conda because Conda keeps running into rooms. And I swear to God, I got the exact same animation with just different character models. I'll kick open a door. Two people, a man and a woman, are laying in a bed, and they both turn and look with these deadpan eyes.
Yeah, I thought it was the same characters and the same character models. I'm like, who are these two people?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's that kind of hotel, but really, every room, every other room, every floor?
Well, Kiryu kicked in the door, so we got to go to a different room.
They're probably, from their perspective, this guy won't leave us alone.
Yeah, for real. But, we eventually catch up to Conda. Ricky is separated. He goes to look for him downstairs while we go upstairs. We go up and down, up and down. It's like a Scooby-Doo freaking chase sequence. But we finally catch up to him. We go to the penthouse suite. It's got a jacuzzi in it with apparently like the murkiest freaking water because Kiryu doesn't see him in the jacuzzi. And he comes up like the friggin' Predator. No, what is it? Apocalypse Now is what it reminds me of.
Yeah, Apocalypse Now.
Because you see his bald head and his eyes looking at him. And he attacks Kiryu, and we have a boss fight with him in this hotel room. And man, this is a drawn-out fight. Because we have to... This dude beelines it for every single piece of furniture in this place.
Yeah, even art.
Yeah, he's ripping stuff off the walls. He rips off these giant, what looks like gongs, off of the walls and tries to hit us with them. But I didn't have a problem with this. It was just really drawn out because I was able to avoid his massive, swings.
Yeah.
But it was just, it took forever. It was like a tank.
Yeah.
But
I feel like a lot of the big fights have been that way for me in this game.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm going to win. It's just really slow.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we beat him up, and we tried to squeeze some information out of him. Of course, he tells us that he's got nothing to do with the land deal. He's like, I just want to take the crown. I just want to be the head of the Tojo clan. And it tells us, you need to look in on the other guys. Look in on Hazumaki. He's working with the Chinese. And like, what? Yeah, he's been working with the Chinese this whole time.
Okay. Yeah, because they didn't say he only has 10 guys.
Yeah, he only has 10 guys in his crew. But what he actually does, he secretly has a bunch of triads in his payroll secretly that help him do a lot of his stuff. And also, you might want to look in on your boy Majima. Why is that? Well, he runs a construction company, and I know for a fact he's already signed a deal to construct the military base. Okay, so we knock his ass out. Ricky shows back up. I'm like, okay, we're getting out of here. So we head back to Date. Date has a little bit more information. Seems it's true. Looks like Majima has signed a deal to help build the military base. So is he in alignment with this? Well, there's only one way to find out. But so that's going to be next on our list. But it's true. Hamazaki is working with the Chinese mafia. Apparently, that's kind of how he got his start. Was instead of just going up the ranks in the Yakuza, he gained power through basically working through the Chinese mafia. So they may have a lot of influence as well. So we can go and check out with old good old Majima. See what he has to say for himself. And so that's where we head next.
Yeah, I haven't been to this section of the map yet, this game.
Yeah, I hadn't either. I hadn't been to up there at the top of the map going toward Purgatory. Still has his little base of operations in what used to be the hobo town, but now it's a giant construction yard that's full of nothing.
Yeah, the business is not booming at the moment.
No, not really. So yeah, let's go to Majima Construction Company, and when we get there, it's completely empty, but there is one building that just says Majima Family Headquarters. It's like it's almost like a trailer. And Kiryu, he goes in. There's a single desk and a phone, and it says dial this number. So Kiryu it's a rotary phone, so he uses the rotary phone and calls. And whoever picks up on the other end, it's just Majima laughing. So Kiryu hangs up the phone. He walks outside. Now this building that he was in is completely. There's at least 400 guys here.
Yeah.
Standing around, surrounding him. And Majima comes out and he says, well, look who it is. So I'm glad to see you back. He's like, why don't we go find a place to talk in private? So he takes us to Purgatory proper. Takes us down to the underground area where all the casinos are and where the flourish used to be, which he's still there. We'll get into that.
At least down there, nothing's changed.
Yep. But he takes Kiryu to the Coliseum, and he's like, "Yeah, it's been 2 years since we brawled in this Coliseum, and I shut it down about a year ago. Nobody's fought in here in a year, and it's just completely like abandoned." And we go up to where the cage would be, and he tells Kiryu, "I've got information if you want it. You're going to have to get it out of me the old-fashioned way." And he snaps his fingers, and people just fucking materialize out of nowhere. I can't figure it out.
Because they had shown the room before, and it was dead empty, right?
Yeah. These people must have been hiding up under the tables.
Yeah.
Knowing Majima, he would totally get people to do that.
Yeah.
Just a whole bunch of people. All right.
I just can't remember now if the dark shot was lit in such a way that they could have been there and I didn't see them, or if they must have just come from somewhere that was completely not visible.
I don't know, but there's at least 200 people in that room. We would have heard somebody walking around.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He also did get 400 people to surround that house in like 1 minute, though, also. So
this is true.
Pretty good at organizing this, I guess.
I guess so. I guess when your boss is insane, you have to be chop with everything.
I feel like he'd be really good at that test in the Ninja Turtles movie where you have to take all the bells off.
Yeah. That's
without
true.
making a sound. I feel like he could do that in the dark in 1 minute, take all the bells off.
Yep. You are absolutely right. This dude is like... Majima feels like the Joker meets Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, I mean, you always talked about him being crossed with the Joker, and I didn't get it so much, obviously, after Yakuza 0, but he definitely does have that, like, psychotic tinge about him.
But the one thing I have to give Majima is that he's loyal.
Yeah.
If you
he's got a code of honor.
Yeah, if you have him on your side, you have possibly the best ally you can ever have. But so he wants to fight Kiryu. He brings the cage down. We have ourselves a good old-fashioned cage match. And I think this is probably the easiest boss fight I've had in the game.
Yeah, me too.
This was not very difficult at all. But yeah, after beating him, he takes us down to the old surveillance room, and lo and behold, oh look, the florist is still there,
reinstated in his original kingdom.
Yeah, he's back, and he's been monitoring stuff and basically reconfirming everything. So it looks like the Hamazaki is working with the Chinese, and he is trying to secure, from what I understand, the resort deal.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's true that Majima is also helping with the building of the military base. So it seems like they're trying to do both, which means it's going to require a lot more land, and that's what they were trying to go for. The florist also has some extra footage when it comes to who shot Daigo. And sure enough, he's like, I've got some reliable sources who showed me a picture, and looks like Cosmo's back from the dead. Great. But while we're sitting there talking, we get a little notice from one of his lackeys saying that there's something going down in the city. He's like, what are you talking about? Cuts to some cameras. We got a whole bunch of Chinese guys walking down the streets of Kamurocho, armed to the teeth. And the head of that is an old friend of Kiryu. And by old friend, I mean somebody he can't stand at all. That is Lu Ka Long.
Yeah, a lot of the characters here, well, maybe they're not like the epitome of gray characters, but I feel like a lot of the mainline characters are a little good, a little bad. But Lao Ka Long is definitely just a pure bad guy.
Yeah, Lao. I said Lu. Lao Ka Long. Originally, 20 years ago, tortured Kiryu when he was like a teenager or a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
And then in Yakuza 1, was helping out with Nishikiyama, trying to overthrow the Tojo clan. Kiryu beat the crap out of him and sent him packing. Well, he's back.
Didn't finish the job.
Yep. And we're assuming that this is the guy who's working with Hamazaki. On top of that, Ricky had decided to go back out on the town and has now caught himself up in all this mess of the flower snake?
Snake flower triad.
Snake flower triad, there you go.
This was another little, like, it wasn't as interesting, but I did like the way that they were on the phone. Like, Kiryu calls him kind of immediately, and he's basically about to tell him to, like, lay low or hide out, and, these people are coming, and then you hear through the phone that Ricky is like, well, what's going on over here? And you can just kind of hear things unfolding without actually seeing it. I thought that was a nice little moment as well.
Yeah. So now we got to go rescue him.
And to be fair, he's becoming a little bit of a damsel in distress at this point.
Yeah, it's. I can't remember this game really, but I think Ricky gets his heroism. I think.
Yeah, I hope they do a little bit more with him because it's kind of an interesting premise, right? Like he was kind of the big dog in Okinawa, right? They said at least he said he was like the toughest guy around.
Well, he was the captain of the family there.
Yep.
He was the one right below the patriarch.
Yep. And I don't think that he maybe realized how out of depth he might be in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And so it's an interesting now where he was a big fish in a small pond, and now he's kind of paying for it, and he's always needing to get bailed out here in Tokyo. So hopefully he does gain some confidence, some skills, whatever it is, some heroism.
Yeah.
Let's see him come full circle and return to Okinawa a stronger man.
There you go. So yeah, so we go through the entire streets of Kamurocho looking for him, and have to beat up a ton of guys. But we finally find a captain who tells us where they're keeping him. He's on a rooftop. Make our way up to the top of this building. And, Long is there. And Kiryu's like, so you're working with Hamazaki, huh? He's got nothing to do with this land crap. Let him go. And he's like,
Yep.
no, you don't get it. I don't give two craps about the land or the Yakuza. I joined up just so I could get close to you.
Revenge.
Yep. I want to freaking murder you. So Kiryu has a boss fight with Long here. This fight sucked.
Yep. I thought I was going to lose this because maybe the opposite of what I expected. I felt like the first form here was the hardest.
Yeah, it was.
And at this point, I'm like, he's got at least 2 more life bars, and I can barely hit him. So I had a big change, because I'd probably been playing this fight for 15 minutes or so. I'm like, I've gone through 3 or 4, like, health potions, food packs. I think I've only hit him, like, twice. Like, I couldn't hit him. He just blocked everything. And, like, his combo hits would be, like, 6 or 7 big hits on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I need to change something. What can I even do? And I realized I just went to the pause menu and started leveling up some of my abilities, like, mid-fight.
Yeah.
And I did get a really simple one that helped a lot with this fight, which was just the ability to come out of a sidestep with a triangle attack.
Yeah.
And so I feel like everything having to do with this fight and, a lot of the fights in this game, it's really just timing. It's just trying to find a way to interrupt their blocking or bypass their blocking.
There is a perfect and simple way to bypass their blocking. And it worked with this fight. If somebody's blocking too much for you, hit the circle or the B button. You grab his ass and you throw him.
Yep.
If you throw him, they usually lay on the ground for a second, walk up to him, hit the B button again. You pick him up and stand him up, usually standing him up facing the opposite of you. Back hits are almost a guaranteed hit.
Yeah.
Throw him, pick him up, hit him in the back about 3 or 4 times. Don't do a finisher. Finishers are usually too slow to come out, and they can recover from that. But if you do that a lot, you can whittle him down.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of that, a little bit of the sidestep, quick attack, and a little bit of like just throwing boxes and bricks at him.
Yeah,
to stun him.
So, yeah.
But it was weird that like the second phase was actually way the easiest.
Yeah.
When he's got no weapon.
When he's got no weapon, then he pulls out the claws.
Yep.
He was a little faster with the claws.
But I could smell the blood at that point. He was down to his last, like, less than a life bar, and I always know you're going to get a couple of those heat moment attacks, so I'm like, all right, the last life bar is the easiest one anyway.
Have you unlocked any of those other heat finishers?
No, they always show you that you've got the 3, and the only one I've got is the headbutt.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
Yeah.
But, after beating him, we knock him out, or we think we do. And he's still got his henchman holding Ricky hostage. They got a, I don't know what you get. It's not a spear. It's like a cutting
scimitar.
Scimitar, is that what that is?
I think so.
And or some kind of pole arm. But they're gonna cut his head off. So Kiryu's trying to jump up over this barrier to reach him. Long reaches up, grabs Kiryu's foot, so he can't cross over. As this is about to happen, they're about to come down on Ricky's neck, and 2 shots ring out. Both the henchmen fall over dead, shot to death, And Kiryu looks up to where the shots were fired. It's Kazuma. He takes an aim, shoots Long directly in the head. He ain't coming back. And Kiryu's like, Kazuma! Is that you? Kazuma turns around and says, so you must be Kiryu. You have beautiful eyes, just like my brother said.
Yeah.
And he walks off. And that's the end of the chapter.
Mm.
And that is where we stop. So, is this the second time we've done There's a Twin running around?
Yep. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, all right, once is bad enough for that kind of an explanation. To have this happen twice, I'm like, all right, it can't be that again. I would prefer some kind of weird, and it's not really this type of game, but I'd prefer that this was like either a clone or, you know, something like Face Off. Like we've literally made somebody, like, you know, surgically made somebody look like Kazuma.
I mean, technically, I mean, that can happen. You have plastic surgery.
Yep. I almost would have preferred that than, oh, it's just his brother, his long-lost brother that Kiryu knew nothing about. Or nobody apparently knew anything about, or they might have suggested that as an option earlier.
Yeah, that's true. But
it's a little convenient.
It is convenient, but dude, this is Yakuza. Yakuza's they're gonna get as cheesy as you can get.
Yeah.
But like after this, I was like, you know what? I think I prefer this story over 1 and 2.
Yeah, I agree, if only because it feels like there's a couple good mysteries here. Do they relate? Do they not relate? The land deal, you know, Kazuma coming back, you know, these are all kind of big things within the world. And the pace of this game, aside from the first few chapters, feels pretty good. I mean, maybe it's just a little bit shorter game, but I feel like because of the less bouncing back and forth, like Yakuza 0 I thought was amazingly handled. I feel like every chapter ended on a cliffhanger. Every character switch just made me want to get to the next character and then back to the first one to see what was happening. And it was just that really kind of like feed forward. But this feels a bit more direct, maybe a bit more simple and linear, but also I feel like it's moving at pace.
Yeah. I mean, this is quick. I mean, we've got one more recording and we're done with this game.
Yep, and they set it up again. I think I've mentioned this, maybe not in a while, but right, like the whole idea of being able to see where you're going, like on a minute-to-minute basis, a chapter-by-chapter basis, and then like the whole story perspective. It's kind of simple that they set it up. They're like, all right, well, we think the traitor's one of these four people, so we're basically going to go knock out these 4 people.
Yep.
So you get a sense that as you close in, like, well, it's not this guy, it's not that guy, it's not that guy, like, we're down to the last guy. It's either him or what I expect to be more likely is, oh, crazy twist, it's not any of the 4, it's something else. But you know you're getting to the end when we start to tick off those options, right? We're getting closer, we're kind of ratcheting it up. We're like, you know, there's probably not a crazy twist where we're gonna go off and forget about these 4. We're probably gonna make it through this short list, and you will get some answers or some changes at the end of that. And I don't know, it's kind of that mid, like, so if it's, let's say it's 4 chapters, 4 characters, that's a third of the game, but it's a third that's clearly defined.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it does a good job for me of being able to set up where I know what I'm doing now and I know in an hour what I'm going to be doing. And it just makes it clear. I feel like it's all one big mission.
Yeah, the as much as I love Yakuza 0 is a very long game.
Yeah.
And even though I think they may have a few more chapters, but I mean, this game has 12 chapters. Mm-hmm. But the chapters are concise and they're straightforward with what they want to say.
Yep.
I'm hoping we don't get any fetch quest chapters anymore. I don't think we will.
But what I disliked the most about one was the randomness of, you're going to go do this. Something random's going to happen. Now you need to go do this.
Yeah.
Something random's going to happen there. Like here, we've already decided we're going to do these 4 things. None of that's random. And so like it just feels more like less, I guess, less like I'm being toyed with.
Right. Well, it's just not. There's no padding.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. Like this to me, this is like the perfect length for a Yakuza game.
Yeah, it does feel a little leaner, although to be fair, I haven't done a lot of side quests yet, so I haven't added any padding.
I mean, I have done a few. Like, I know I did 10 because I got the achievement for doing 10 sub-stories.
I think I did about 3 so far.
2 of them I've done so far is chase this dude, and I'm like, yeah. So what was so you mentioned before the recording that there were 2 things that you did not care for in this game. We already hit on one which was the chase sequences. What is the other one?
Yeah, both of them are kind of similar. Not that I don't care for them per se, but it was clear that they were trying to focus on them a bit. So one of them being the chase battles, and the other one just being the seamless battles, where instead of, going into a dedicated fight of 3 or 4 people, you're kind of walking through the city where there's people on all sides. And
right.
Whether I like that kind of free streaming constant battle thing, I don't know. I wouldn't want the whole game to be like that, obviously, but I didn't hate it, I guess, as a little bit of a gauntlet to get somewhere, although it was awkward when I would just ignore the 6 people behind me and just start beating up on some of the gates.
Yeah.
And, they're all just standing there not attacking me. I'm like, well, this doesn't feel very realistic.
Yeah. That's kind of a staple in the Yakuza series. I mean, we've been doing that since 0.
Yeah.
And I think they keep going with those sequences, but yeah, I'd rather do that than the chase sequences.
Yeah.
God, I hate them so much. Let me check my emails and see if we have any. I don't think. Oh, what I do? Look at that. Dustin came in a pinch here. Well, he says he emailed me. Is it in my spam folder? It is not.
A new mystery to solve.
He sent me a message saying emailed you, but I sure as hell don't have the email. I'll keep refreshing. If you would like to send us an email, it's drew@ztgd.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. I am at DMLFury. Matt is at REMGS. And the podcast itself is at ZTGD Phoenix Down. Did you send it to the right one? I'm sure you probably did. He sent it to the Drew at ZTGD.com. And I have that forwarding to my Gmail, at my personal Gmail account. I don't actually have access to the ZTGD account. I only get it through forwarding, and it's may taking a second to forward. I really wish it would hurry up, though. I don't want to waste any more time. He sent this 24 minutes ago, so he sent it already. You know what? I'm going to try and get a hold of Ken. Ken McGowan. Wake your butt up. You got access to the ZTGD emails. Send that to him. He's up. He's watching football. I know it. He's watching my Falcons get beat.
It is a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess just generally, I am still enjoying the game, and probably more even than after the first recording.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the story quite a bit, the mystery, the build-up, the pace. I do kind of like Rikia as a character. I think the 3 Tojo leads aren't super memorable, but they're definitely serviceable and different enough from each other. I do kind of still wish we had played the Majima section before the 4 extra chapters, because I think that basically chronicles how he started to set up the Majima construction, right?
Right.
And the fact that he's still doing that now, like, I didn't realize, like, that was a setup that we needed, because now he's just a construction man. I kind of imagined that Majima was the kind of guy who would set up this construction company and then just, like, quit for the next game, and he'd be doing something else, and quit for the next game, and he'd be a chef or something, who knows.
Yeah, that sounds like him, right?
Right, but the fact that he's still a construction worker, I'm like, oh, now I kind of wish I knew that story of how this is the thing he's now chosen to do with his life, aside from being a Tojo clan boss. So maybe at some point, I really would like to go back and play those chapters.
Ken said, weird that, well, that's just a redirect. There is no inbox for it. Oh, great. I'll message Dustin.
Or maybe to start with it next recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, intro email and an outro email.
I'm going to say, could you resend it to my personal email, like right now? He may or may not get it. I'll give him a couple of minutes. Matt, hang on. It's all good. But, I guess we could talk about this. We're still down for the next game being Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding.
Oh, yes.
Okay. There is another game that has been suggested to me, and it's not been suggested, it's been told that we need to do it. Anthony has said that we both need to play Inscription. Have you heard of this game?
Inscription?
Mm-hmm. It's on PC only. I think it's on Steam. From what he has told me, we do not need to look up anything about this game. We do not need to know anything about it going in. He said that is, in fact, I proofed his review of this game today, and it's 3 paragraphs, because he's like, if I say anything about this game, it will ruin the experience. He also gave it a 10 out of 10.
Fascinating.
So
I will stop looking. I haven't looked at anything other than...
From what I understand, it is a card game.
Yeah.
But there's more to it than that, is what he told me.
Yeah, all I see here is psychological horror card game masterpiece.
There you go.
That's a bizarre combination of words. I am interested.
Okay. So we may end up doing that. I don't know how long it takes to actually do it.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's a fair bit shorter than Death Stranding.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how long it actually is, but he has not seen this. All right, Dustin, I'm sorry. It has not shown up in my email. You do now have my personal email address. If you want to resend it to me there, I will read it off at the beginning of the last episode covering Yakuza, and if you want to send one that we read at the end covering your final thoughts on the game, that sounds good to me. But yeah, that's going to be it for us. I appreciate everybody listening, and yeah, until next time, I am Drew.
And I'm Matt.
And we are out of here. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll be back with the conclusion of Yakuza 3.